But we begin tonight with weather. This was the scene in much of Summit County tonight as strong storms pushed through. With heavy rain and winds of over 60 miles per hour, there were a lot of problems for a lot of people. In Mogadore, take a look. The storms downed trees and power lines, and tonight thousands across Summit County are still without power. And in Akron's Ellet neighborhood, the evidence of this powerful storm clear, with trees and debris littering yards and streets. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight at 11. I'm Andrew Horansky. This morning, eastern areas woke up to storm damage, while tonight it was the southern counties feeling the wrath. So the big question, is it over? Only Matt Wintz knows. Matt?
Well, I'll tell you what, Andrew. Yeah, you're right. We've had those two rounds today, this morning across the northern counties, and then this afternoon and evening down to the south. It's been a very rough go of it across the area. And the question answering, is it over? Well, not quite yet, as you'll see. But the good news is we've lost our severe thunderstorm watch. We have no warnings right now. The storms that are moving in are just thunderstorms, but they are producing some very heavy rain. So here comes round three, pretty formidable looking line of storms. When you see the reds and the oranges on radar, that is indicative of how heavy that rain is. So this is essentially a wall of water coming into Erie and Huron County now. You get into it, you can see over the islands we're getting heavy rain, stretches offshore. You get down toward the south, towards Bellevue, 250 getting hit hard with some heavier rain. Norwalk, the rain just started for you. Quite a bit of lightning back to the west towards Venice. All of this pushing off to the east pretty quickly, and you can see even out over the lake we've got some rain. But this right here tells me that this line of storms is starting to weaken. This is the outflow boundary, which is basically that gust of wind out ahead of the storm. Already in Lorain, you're feeling the wind. The rain's still a good 25 miles off. That tells me that this line is starting to weaken, but we're still going to plan for this 500-mile-long area of rain to move through the area. So still some heavy rain, lightning, and gusty winds, but the severe weather with this, I think, will be minimal. But we bring more storms back this week. I've got that forecast through the end of the week coming up. Andrew, back to you.
Okay, Matt, thanks. And as Matt said, perhaps the hardest hit area tonight was what you saw there, Summit County. That's where we find our Ray Strickland. And Ray, what are you seeing there now?
Yeah, Drew, I'm here in Barberton, and I want you and our viewers to take a look at this. A pretty nice-sized tree here, uprooted and sent crashing into this home. But this is actually not the worst of what happened here, because just down the road, another tree fell into a home, caving the roof in, landing into a little boy's bedroom. Now, the homeowner there, he didn't want us to show his home, and out of respect to him and his family, we decided not to do so. But the good news here, though, there were no injuries reported. However, there are many people in this area tonight still without power. It was a storm that hit northeast Ohio hard and fast, with blinding rain and powerful winds uprooting countless trees, leaving thousands in the dark. The Summit County area, one of the hardest hit, with hail pounding car windshields in Akron, the storm leaving yards in Mogadore a complete mess.
I have no doubts of the power of the storm.
In Barberton, though, is where the impact was possibly felt the most. Trees falling on at least 4 homes, including John Sulick's.
Did not expect this.
He says he's lucky because he didn't receive much damage, but when he looked around his neighborhood, he was taken back.
This is a shock. The extent is definitely a shock.
This is unusual.
Barberton Fire Chief Kim Baldwin says he hasn't seen this much damage from this kind of storm in the city in years.
It's actually more than I was expecting to see once I got here.
The cleanup is already underway, a small price to pay because there were no injuries.
There is some fortune with the misfortune.
In a storm that could have had even bigger consequences. And as you can see, Ohio Edison is behind me working very hard to restore power. Now, I spoke to the fire chief, the Barberton fire chief, and he told me that could actually take several hours, Drew, possibly into the morning.
Certainly right. That could have had bigger consequences. Good thing nobody was hurt. Ray, stay safe, and thank you for that report. And speaking of power, let's take a live look right now at the power outage numbers from First Energy, where more than 24,000 customers are now without power. The majority of them, no surprise, in Summit County, where 10,000 plus are still in the dark. For a full list of outages, storm damage pictures, and the latest forecast, go to the Channel 3 app or WKYC.com.